Let's check this out. I thought this was pretty interesting. Like, okay, what this got to do? I don't know. Okay, I thought this was pretty interesting. Let's read this. Look, Thomas Vega and Gordon Singer both describe themselves as being passionate about assistive tech, which is designed to increase the capabilities of people with disabilities. The two met during their freshman year at Berkeley and have been working together to develop a smart wheelchair for their friend Daniel. Daniel has cerebral palsy and is legally blind. They received the 2017 10,000 Lemelson MIT Student Prize in the Drive It category for their invention, Wheel Sense. Thomas, who grew up in Lima, Peru, hopes to create the human of the future, which he describes as developing technology to create new or extend existing human sense and capabilities, including cognition and learning. See, this new American system is dwelling on the dumbing down of the being, the higher up, the creator, co creator type that do these amazing things, build these amazing monuments and all of this. We catering to people with disabilities. You you getting a disability because you ain't honoring yourself or somebody in your lineage, mother or father, isn't honoring the self. That's just point blank. That's accountability. His work in assistive technology represents an initial step in that direction. He has worked on projects such as Alivier, a rehabilitation system that helps improve flexibility and reduce pain in arthritis patients. Sense, an open source Bluetooth enabled augmented white cane that helps visually impaired people navigate better and avoid obstacles. And Bionique, a Bluetooth enabled prosthetic foot that uses haptic feedback to help users better distribute weight on prosthetic legs, among others. So he going crazy. Why they ain't talking about Thomas Vega and, and Gordon Singer? He has been a research assistant at the UC Berkeley Tactical Hybrid Ecologies Laboratory and Inventioneer at the school's Center for Information Technology Research in the Interest of Society, Citrus. Citrus is a citrus plays a big role in our diet. Like citrus is very important. Like from the oranges, from the berries, like all the acid is important, people. And a summer intern on the Siri Advanced Development Team at Apple. Mm. Fortin, who grew up in San Diego, was class valedictorian at Point Loma High School. He was He has worked on projects such as Aloe Vera with Thomas Wanderer, a smart jacket that uses data from a GPS app to direct users to nearby areas of interest via intuitive wristbands, and a wearable digital compass and smart wheels. A self-driving, obstacle-avoiding motorized wheelchair that alleviates the burden of navigation for users by following a nearby target, a friend, for example. A long time, a long time surfer. He is also working on MySwell, a modular surf forecasting device, a modular surface forecasting device that displays current conditions of nearby surf spots via an LCD screen. Surf, like he really meant surf. Screen LED indicators, or they might not, or he might not mean surfer. Surface of the skin. At UC Berkeley, he has been a research assistant in the Walker Sleep and Neuroimaging Laboratory and the D. Esposito Cognitive Neuroscience Research Laboratory, and has worked with Professor Jorn Hartman, or Born Hartman, for the past year on human computer interaction. I just like reading this shit because Mr. Thomas here, Thomas Vega, made this here mouth-based touchpad. It's mimicking the Neuralink, right? Let's read it. Let's read on what it do. Mouth-based touchpad enables people with paralysis to interact with computers. This was published. This one was published in 25 August, right? That one, when I was just reading with them two, this is from 2017, right? Okay. It's more published. Like when you go read up on it, this is what's his name? Gordon. He's showing how this thing works. Look, working it is like a mouthpiece. The sensation, the sensations from his tongue. But look, a new assistive technology is allowing people with paralysis to use computers, tablets, and smartphones without relying on their hands. The mouthpad developed by Boston-based startup Augmental. Remember we was talking about in all of these religions, really though, thoughts are augmentally planted into the servant, peasant, follower's brain because all beings are worthy of that higher knowledge. It's just the knowledge that's expressed is low. They telling you you gotta follow until like they did that, and they might have, but still every being has a choice. Augmental translates tongue and head movements into cursor commands, offering an alternative to that voice recognition systems that are often impractical in classrooms or social environments. The system has already transformed the daily lives of users living with severe mobility impairments, giving them a new measure of independence. The mouthpad is a custom fit retainer embedded with a pressure sensitive touchpad that sits on the roof of the mouth. Combined with motion sensors, it connects via Bluetooth to personal devices and enables users to scroll, click, and drag with tongue gestures or head movements. So, could this be another reason why uh, people think people think that people are reptilians? Tongue gestures and head movement, like you just moving yo. Let's look at dude tongue, see what he doing. Look, I mean, I'm just, hey, we just shooting the potentials for people here. For people with limited tongue control, alternative inputs such as clenches or sips can be used. Augmental says the design takes advantage of the tongue's 8 muscles, which are highly expressive and resistant to fatigue. One of the first students to adopt the mouthpad is a 19-year-old Keely Hork, freshman studying math and computer engineering at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Hork became quadriplegic at the age of 12 after suffering a stroke that left her unable to move her arms or hands. Until recently, her use of technology was minimal and always required assistance. My interactions with technology were pretty scarce because anything to do with the computer or the internet, I had to have I had to have another person help me, she said. But now I do things on the computer whenever I want, not having to rely on others. It really has become a game changer. University of Maryland student Keely Hort became quadriplegic after a childhood stroke. Used the mouthpad to code, take notes, and interact with her devices independently. For Hort, the device has turned frustration into access. She now codes, writes equations, and takes notes during lectures where voice commands are not suitable. Being able to stay up late to do homework or play games, it gives me a sense of normalcy, she explained. It's giving me a spark. It's giving me the motivation to want to take control of my life. Her mother describes the mouthpad as a turning point, saying the technology restored a measure of independence once thought impossible. Hmm. Now the device is Thomas Vega, co-founder and CEO of Augmental. Vega's interest in human-computer interaction traces back to his childhood. At the age of 5, he developed a stutter and turned to keyboards and computers as a way to express himself without limitations. That early experience with assistive technology inspired him to explore ways of augmenting human abilities. After studying engineering at the University of California, Berkeley, Vega joined the MIT Media Lab in 2016, where he worked in Patty May's fluid, sorry, fluid interfaces group. He experimented with wearables to regulate sleep, track emotions, and improve access to information, but ultimately focused on brain-machine interfaces. An internship at Neuralink shifted his direction. A brain implant has the highest potential for helping people in the future, but I saw a number of limitations that pushed me from working on it right now. But I saw a number of limitations that push me from working on it right now. I'm as Vegas said, I still got my morality, bro. I'm not about to dig in people's what is wrong with dude. Let me go and step on. And I know it's a way I can do it. Ooh, Elon. Ooh, Elon. What you gonna do? Nigga. Nah, let me stop. One is the long timeline for development. I've made so many fields over the past years. I made so many friends over the past years that needed a solution yesterday. In his final semester at MIT, he created a prototype using a sensor equipped mouthpiece, a lollipop with a bunch of sensors, and demonstrated that tongue input could reliably replace a mouse. Soon after, Augmental was founded with his longtime collaborator, Corton Singer. It's only a little bit more. It's only a little bit more. That's it. The Augmental Mouthpad, named 225 CES Innovation Awards honoree in accessibility and age tech, is and this go transducer basically. Each mouth pad is a custom fabricated. Each mouth pad is custom fabricated. Augmental begins with the scan of the user's mouth, generates a 3D model, and produces the retainer using dental grade materials and embedded electronics. Users can navigate the tongue with tongue swipes, right click with a sip gesture, or use head tracking for cursor control. Gamers, programmer, programmers, students have already tested the device for daily use with some reporting up to 9 hours of interaction per day. The startup is now preparing to expand the system capabilities. Augmental plans seek U.S. Food and Drug Administration clearance in the coming year, which would allow the mouthpad to interface with wheelchairs and robotic arms as well as enable reimbursement through insurance. The team is also working on a next generation version designed to respond to whispers and subtle internal speech movements, a feature intended to support users with impaired lung function. But Vega sees broader applications ahead as artificial intelligence tools become more embedded in daily computing. He believes the mousepad could provide an accessible interface for everyone, not just people with disabilities. What we hope to provide one day is an always available, robust, private interface to intelligence. He said, "We think this is the most expressive wearable hands-free input system that humans have created. But this robust and private interface to intelligence." That's deep. You know what else is deep? Check this out. Not that, not that. It's right here. They finding mummies with gold. They saying gold tongues. You know, they gotta keep this spookism going. Mummies with gold tongues found inside 25,000-year-old, 2,500-year-old tombs in Egypt. The rare discovery of sealed tomb yielded well-preserved grave goods, including 400 funerary figures. Look at these. These ain't the same. We saying that this ain't the same tech, bro. They trying to say they had gold tongues, like they trying to throw us up. Like, look, bro, get out of here. This is this. The tech was different then. So, check this out. Archaeologists have unearthed two tombs containing the mummified remains of a man who died about 2,500 years ago in the ruins of ancient Egypt and the city of Oxyrhynchus and what is now Banaza. During the excavation, the team stumbled upon the unique find, three gold foiled tongues. Adding to the surprise, one of the tombs had never been opened. This is very important because it's rare to find a tomb that is totally sealed. Esther Pons Mulatto, co-director of the archaeological mission from the University of Barcelona, tells Nada El Sawi, the National. The sealed tomb, a male sarcophagus made of limestone, held mummified remains of an array of items, including a scarab amulet, four canopic jars that were used in the mummification process, and more than 400 pieces of faience in the form of small funerary figures made of glazed earthenware. The mummy's face was also well preserved with the golden tongue still inside his mouth, reports Sebastian Catley of the Daily Express. We are still studying the inscriptions of the vessels that we assume will reveal the identity of the buried person. Mike Mascort, mission co-director with Mulatto, tells Sylvia Colome of La Vanguardia. In ancient Egypt, embalmers sometimes crafted tongues from gold foil and placed them inside the mouths of the dead to enable them to speak with Osiris, the god of the underworld. To and he said to enable them. Earlier this year, archaeologists working in Alexandria discovered a mummy with a similar gold tongue dating around 2,000 years ago, as reported by Isis Davis Marks for Smithsonian Magazine at the time. The three gold tongues found in the two tombs date to the Roman period that began in 300 BCE, reports the National. Right. Right. Malala tells the National that gold tongues have only been found at archaeological sites in Alexandria and El Banaza. The tomb, which had already been raided by grave robbers around the time of burial, held a sarcophagus in the shape of a woman, but the mummified remains were in poor shape. Per Daily Express. Buried alongside the body were beads, stone, headrest, amulet, and the figure of the falcon-headed god Horus. And I put all this together just by seeing it. I was like, that's crazy. They was doing that. Two more gold tongues were also found, one inside the woman's mouth and another believed to have been placed in the mouth of a child's remains. The tomb date to the Said dynasty, a period that lasted from about 664 to 332 BCE. Prior to the conquest of Egypt by Alexander the Great in 332 BCE, Oxyrhynchus was known as Pre-Medjed, right, located about 140 miles south of Cairo at the site of the modern town of El Banaza. It was an important Egyptian hub during the Said dynasty, according to the University of Barcelona's website. City connected caravan routes from the west to a port on the Bar Youssef waterway, allowing the flow of people and goods to the Mediterranean Sea. When Alexander arrived, the city became home to large numbers of Greek colonists and enjoyed a close relationship with Alexandria. Hmm. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense on why it stopped. Or like it changed form. 640 CE per Medjed fell into a decline after Arab occupation of the area. More than 1,000 years later, during Napoleon Bonaparte's Egyptian campaign of 1799 to 1802 CE, French scholars identified the ruins and the first excavations began in 1897. But I'm reading on Oxyrhynchus, they write about 1,000 of the Arabs coming in, doing them dirty. And one thing they'll say too, that all of the papyrus is from the south of the world. All of this shit excavated when they was doing all that iron shit. Uh, So of course the re-engineering would be through these through the mummified through this technology. Like this tech is like nothing's new under the sun. See, they keep calling them gold tongues. And I just started just looking into it too. This is December 18th, 24. Look, Like, cause the plastic could disintegrate, or they really didn't even use plastic. They could have just went straight in with the gold. Gold tons discovered in the mouths of mummies at Oxyrhynchus. This is 24 December. This ritual was intended to ensure that the dead would be able to communicate in the afterlife, and speak before the court of the ancient Egyptian god Osiris. Let's look at Osiris. The blue bean, he got the switches. He got the switches for the he got he got the switches for your mouth pad, the remote. You got the control switch for your mouth, the mouth pad. God of fertility. This agriculture, the afterlife, the dead, resurrection, life, and vegetation in ancient Egyptian religion. He was classically depicted as a green-skinned deity with a pharaoh's beard, partially mummy wrapped at the legs, wearing a distinctive native crown. And holding symbolic freaking flail. Symbolic of what? Symbols used in ancient Egyptian society. They were originally the attributes of the deity Osiris that became insignia of pharaonic authority. The shepherd's crook stood for kingship, and the flail for the fertility of the land. The crook, he was one of the first to be associated with the mummy rap when his brother Seth cut him into pieces after killing him with her sister Nephis. We got a bit. He was classically depicted when his brother Seth cut him to pieces after killing him with her sister. Osiris' sister wife Isis searched Egypt to find each part of Osiris. She collected all but one, Osiris's genitalia. It's basically like your lineage with Elon Musk and them. th- They ain't satisfied with just getting pieces. You being an organ donor is crucial. They ain't good with just getting pieces. They want the blood. They want to control the whole being. Cause it's like on Get Out when he told that dude, when he told him, bro, if you train hard, bro, you'll be a beast. They ain't realizing like, bro, what they know this, but they focus on that beast part of them more than anything. 'Cause they know we not beasts, we organic. So for the simple fact of you not being to organically reassemble is crucial for the future. That's how people coming back with disease lineage, bro. We not paying attention, bro. We playing. She then wrapped his body up, enabling him to return to life. Osiris was widely worshipped until the decline of ancient Egyptian religion during the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire. That's why Jesus went to Egypt. When he went back, they saying he a sorcerer and shit. But he was humble. Like, people like that everywhere. Nah, cause look, too, we gonna check out the characteristics of gold. We know them, but we just making sure. Chemically gold, chemically gold is a transition metal, group 11 element, and one of the noble metals. The noble metals, like creators. See, and it's another thing. Like this, how you know, uh, it's a flaw. It's a flaw in the God concept. Because if all these elements and minerals, if everything is working together to make everything else appear as one, heard I said to make everything appear as one, everything other things are working together, so they can't be one. It's like we working in a whole another multitude towards something else and for something else. That's why you be you you care and be careful about what you do. Gold is a cognate with similar words in many Germanic languages. Right, to shine, to gleam, to be yellow or green. I feel like Dr. Seuss with that one. To shine, to gleam, to be yellow or green. The symbol AU is from the Latin aurum, gold, or aura, aura. This what's around us, being part plasmic field. The Proto-Indian European ancestor of aurum was Hehuzo. Hehuzo, meaning glow. This word is derived from the same root, Proto-Indo-European, Hughes to dawn as Husos, the ancestor of the Latin word aurora, dawn. Damn, and I just thought about this and what dawn would be. The dawning. Dawn would be like, dawn would be like when the beam come is erect, when it stand up. Dawn is like when the orange and the purple meet in the sky and the blue, all them colors be hitting together before it get dark. Dawn is like the yin and the yang, like in the middle. That's what dawn is. It's like the mixing. This etymological relationship is presumably behind the frequent claim in scientific publications that orm meant shining dawn, shining down. The aurora lights, they are shining down like we see them. We looking up at them. Gold is the most malleable metal. It can be drawn into a wire a single atom width and then stretch considerably before it breaks. Such nanowires distort via the formation, reorientation, and migration and of dislocations and crystal twins without noticeable hardening. A single gram of gold can be beaten into a sheet of 1 square meter. Light is transmitted through gold appears, hold on. Light transmitted through gold appears greenish blue. So when copper, oh, that's copper. Copper is harmony byproducts of gold, though. All these men, all of them are lower levels of gold. The only one higher is like platinum, I think, something like that. Because gold strongly reflects yellow and red. Such semi-transparent sheets also strongly reflect infrared light, making them useful as infrared radiant heat shields in the visors of heat-resistant suits and in sun visors for spacesuits. Gold is a good conductor of heat and electricity. Mm, you still don't see why? Still don't see why he, what else do you got? I don't know. This is funny though. This is dope. I just want to do it. Because Thomas Vega, he worked with Neuralink and said it's going to take too long to come out and a little stuff like that. Like it would, but would it be convenient? It's not convenient. Neuralink, the way Neuralink work ain't convenient. I'm just saying. I ain't picking no sides. I'm not picking neither one of y'all side, but I'm just We being informative here. That's crazy. That's crazy money. What else? What else? What else? You talking about the color? Colloidal gold, used by electron microscopes, is red if the particles are small. Larger particles of colloidal gold are blue. Hmm. The chemistry. All right. Although gold is the most notable of the is the most noble of the noble metals, it still forms many diverse compounds. The oxidation state of gold and its compounds ranges from that referred to as the Boris ion is the most common oxidation state with soft ligands such as ethers, and we have these. Why? Purification states, oxidate. But yeah, like I was saying, we gold in the universe is reduced through several cosmic processes and was present in the dust from which the solar system formed. Scientists have identified three main cosmic sources of gold formation: supernova nucleosynthesis, neutron star collisions, and magnetar flares. Reptar. Ooh. All three sources involve a process called the R process, rapid neutron capture, which forms elements heavier than iron. Damn. But it didn't say nothing about mm, all three sources involve a process called the R process. You know why? Because after the explosion, it's going back to neutron stars. I mean neutrons, like a balance, a neutral state. How they can be pulled and captured. And what though? And what? The black hole. The black hole, the pits, which are the tips. The pits, which are the tips. Sit in pits. The lasers gotta sit in the dark pits, bro. Something gotta be able to withstand. So I said the dark by the black body, the dark body, it really hold a lot of power. They just don't want to tell us that because the lighter you are, the more you reflect in the power. the light, the more combative it's in people's skin is like who they are for real. Like we ain't on that level. We getting there, but we ain't on that level yet. That's why the color spectrum would even make sense to organized beings. See, I didn't say civilized, I said organized. Because organization comes organically, due process. Oh, for decades, scientists believed supernova nucleosynthesis was the primary mechanism for gold formation. More recently, research has shown that the neutron star collisions produce significant quantities of gold through the R process. But I just thought it was I just thought this was interesting. Let me know could I be wrong or what? This ain't this, bro. This mouthpiece, this tech, this tech been around. They been trying to give it. Oh, look at this too. Before, before in this video, check this out. Where was it at though? Oh yeah, Oxyrhynchus. Right, modern name, boom, 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 boom. Since it was the etymology, like they call it the sharp noses. We don't have sharp noses, proving that we wasn't the ones using this. They did this. All of the type of tech that's terrible for humanity, we don't have nothing to do with that because we been had cultures that we can go back and look at that we are honoring ourselves for being the highest form of technology and honoring nature for giving us this breath to manipulate this fabric of creation. You know what I mean? But look here, sharp nosed, sharp nosed, and I'm out, man. We on, hey, every time.